When we talk about Jesus, we are talking about the personality of the incarnation of Christ. Now, Jesus was a personality. Christ is a principle that he embodied, a direct ray of God manifesting on earth. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. What is the principal teaching of Christianity? What's the principal teaching of Christ? Love. Nothing else than that. And only two persuasions. You know, we have the 10 Commandments, which were basically prohibitions. Don't do this, don't do that. But Christ gave 2 persuasions. Not heavy-duty things, but 2 important persuasions. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. By his example, Christ taught humility, tolerance, patience, virtues like goodness, truth, wisdom, love, and justice. So if we try to live by principles, rather than by just egoistic desires, most everybody's just running around living by whatever they desire. But if we start to live by principle, our life transforms. And it goes from it transforms you from a sense of egoistic pride to real self-dignity, because you start to find out who you really are. When you separate the egoism off, what's left? The self. And that's what we're trying to find, and that's what we aim for in self-realization. It's the realization of the inner self, not the personality self, and definitely not the egoistic self. But we have to start there. We have to see those and be able to understand those before we can separate them from our real self. Sure. Christ did teach about the power of the mind. Whatever you wish for and truly believe, you will have. Well, that's the use of the mind. You have to concentrate a lot, focus on the thing you wish for, and believe. But when he says believes in me, he doesn't mean you just say, oh, I believe in Jesus. It means you believe in what he taught, and you apply what he taught. You believe it so much that you live by it, and that's what creates the transformation. Christ was full and complete, so he had no need to train himself or practice or develop anything. So he came here to teach us, and now he did teach us meditations. Most of them have been lost, but even prayer. What's prayer? It's a meditation. And we even have prayers without words. And those prayers are just simply loving one another. It just doesn't need to be any more complicated than love God and love everybody else. And love yourself, of course. But not which self am I talking about? Not the egoistic self. Don't love that. There's too much of that kind of self-love going on. We're talking love our own nature, our own life. He was against anything or anyone. He didn't criticize the homosexuals. He didn't criticize even the adulterers. He never criticized anybody. But when we hear about Christ's teachings as it's told in the modern world, we get the feeling he's very critical. This is wrong, this is right, don't do this, that kind of thing. That's not the case. Every one of us needs our own experiences. And he obviously understood it better than anybody. We need our own experiences to be able to raise our consciousness and uplift our awareness to reach the Christ consciousness. Now, is that really possible, reaching Christ consciousness? Now, if that wasn't a possibility, why would he ever suggest it? He lived 33 years, 2,000 years ago. But look what an impact. It's not because it was the personality of Christ. It's because it's the principle of Christ that made that happen. Now, a lot of people thought he was a prophet who, through a series of incarnations, raised his consciousness high enough to become one with God and be able to speak that way. So the idea that there are these people get in heaven and these people won't, as the Pharisees used to talk about, you know, they used to throw people out, oh, you can't come into heaven. But everyone ultimately gets to heaven. There are no one's left behind. The system is It restores everything to its original condition. And we're created by God. And he didn't create a spirit of fear, doubt, and anxiety. He created a spirit of love, wisdom, and strength. So we all return back to that original nature eventually.